In a world full of noise and endless distractions, where the city never sleeps and voices compete to be heard, one podcast dares to cut through the chaos. Welcome to the Oracle 19 podcast, where truth meets thought and bold ideas spark conversations that shape our urban world.
Welcome to a brand new podcast. And as always, this is the Oracle 19. And my name is Mr. Greatness. For any business inquiries, if you want to put your business, if you have a business, small or large, you want to expand your marketing, you want to put your information worldwide, you can email us at evolutionoflondon@gmail.com. And that's the same email if you want to make a donation to the Oracle 19 podcast for their great work via PayPal, evolutionoflondon@gmail.com. Or you can contact us, the Oracle 19 Radio, at the Oracle19Radio.com. You can shop online, Tower Baby Shopping Mall, which is evolutionoflondon.com. We have a whole wide range of products. That's men's, kids, ladies' clothes, cologne, perfume, more house products, over 10,000 products. That's evolutionoflondon.com, as well as evolutionoflondon.org, O-R-G. And that is for custom clothes, accessories, and digital products as well. Finally, evolutionoflondon.store, S-T-O-R-E. And that is for custom sneakers, more clothes and accessories, evolutionoflondon.store. We have different links to other affiliates. You can support us that way. www.linktree.com/evolutionoflondon. We do have a Patreon channel, which we have videos that's not posted on YouTube, digital artwork we have, as well as consulting services as well. That is www.patreon.com/evolutionoflondon. Check out the company Royalty 9 International. They make homemade candles, 100% soy wax, 12-ounce jars from scented to unscented. Now the scented candles is from frankincense, myrrh, jasmine, eucalyptus, rose, vanilla, peppermint, just to name a few. So if you want to place an order for these luxury candles over 35 plus burning hours, email the company at royalty9international@gmail.com. Again, that's royalty9international@gmail.com. You'll find them on Instagram and TikTok, Royalty 9 International. Mr. Will, he's been a fitness consultant for over 15 years. So if you want to book a consultation, email him at healthfitnessconsultant1@gmail.com. That's healthfitnessconsultant1@gmail.com. DJ Panthro, he's an international DJ, and if you want to book for him to come to your venue, DJ Panthro 519@gmail.com. That's DJ Panthro, Panthro 519@gmail.com. He does video editing as well. You can find him on YouTube, DJ Panthro. There you will DJ Panthro 519. There you will find his link to his website for clothing and accessories. DJ Panthro 519 on YouTube. You'll find him on Instagram and TikTok. The Real DJ Panthro, that's the D-A, The Real DJ Panthro on TikTok. Again, DJ Panthro. Music. Cheap Limousine channel on YouTube. He have a whole wide range of different beats. And once you go to his YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and share to Cheap Limousine channel on YouTube, and continuing to train on YouTube is the Greatness 19 channel. That's our educational channel to open up your third eye. Like, subscribe, and share to the Greatness 19 channel on YouTube, and as well Mr. Evolution of London. That's our health and wellness channel. Like, subscribe, and share to Mr. Evolution of London on YouTube. Kinzo Gang, Kinzo Gang, for Afro beats. You can find him on YouTube. Check out his album Discovery and his single Odora. He's on all major platforms. Kinzo Gang on Amazon Music, YouTube, of course, Spotify, Apple Music, just to name a few. And if you want to book for him to come to your venue, email him at morekenzo@gmail.com. That's more, MOORKEENZO@gmail.com. morekenzo@gmail.com. Now, the Oracle 19 is on all major platforms. We're on iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Spotify for creators, Amazon Music, just to name a few. So any information I haven't mentioned will be in the description box of the Oracle 19 podcast, the Greatness 19 channel, Mr. Evolution of London, both of those on YouTube, of course. Rumble.com, we can't forget that. Rumble.com, just type in the Oracle 19. And finally, www.theoracle19radio.com. And there also subscribe to our internet radio website, www.theoracle19radio.com. Well, today's topic: are we becoming too soft as a society? Excuse me, I just had to drink my tea. And just in case y'all guys, a lot of you new listeners, I have my tea of peppermint, ginger, cinnamon, wheatgrass, turmeric. I know that's a lot. And a couple drops of ginkgo. Well, this is my tea concoction. Boost my immune system, give me energy, help heal my body, take away the toxins. All of those ingredients that I mentioned have properties that, generally speak, will help your body. Especially, it's good to drink warm tea in the early mornings, or when your day is about to get started, or at night that's when your stomach, your intestines, really at night when you're not eating, heals itself. This is just a sidebar before the topic we want to talk about, but drinking tea and certain tea at night, because you're really not supposed to eat after, really around 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, and gives basically your body time to reset from 8 in the evening to 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening. It gives you time. You really should, like, 12 hours. Everybody's body is different, but I'm just speaking of myself. I try to give my body Now, I don't follow that all the time. Shame on me. I try. But you should give your body at least 12 hours of not eating, just reset. And if you feel hungry, you drink water or drink tea, as I mentioned, and etc. Or water foods if you need to eat at night, like cucumbers, celery. I know I'm going off the topic here. That's a whole different topic. But you'll find, check out Mr. Evolution of London on different products. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I could literally talk about that topic for at least an hour or two. But are we becoming too soft as a society? You already know the answer. The answer is definitely yes. I touch on this topic, often, on and on throughout my podcast years. We really have to look at modern life and how it's shifting towards just everything is comfort and sensitivity and being emotional and fragile. How this will help or hinder the future generations, work ethic, relationships, mental toughness. All of this is combined together. And I want to talk about certain things and breaking down today the decline of resilience in today's youth and adults for that matter. Now I understand I could be very biased and say, well, in my era, we had mental toughness. And y'all young people these days don't know about mental toughness. Something like my uncle had told me, I feel sorry for y'all young people these days. Y'all don't understand about work. He was saying that to me, My day, we had to lift bricks and put it on our head and walk 5 miles with 20-pound bricks on our shoulders. And then walk another 20 miles to drop off the bricks off of our heads. Because we was more mentally tough than y'all young people these days. I know I'm being dramatic, but you know the lingo. Each generation knows the lingo about the previous generation. But here's some facts about it. It is true. The mental toughness from each generation has declined because technology has changed. Obviously, the world has changed. It have become more soft. Give you an example in the house. My mother or grandmother, great-grandmother, so forth, didn't have laundry machine. So they had to scrub the clothes with their bare hands on a piece of wood or something like that. And then air dry. No dryer. Now in every household, there's a washer and dryer. It is good. It's easy on the hands. When you wash and clothes after clothes met with your hands, that's tough. You forced to have a certain mindset. When you have to walk to school a mile or a mile from point A to point B. When you also, if you had to walk miles to work, that program you to have a certain toughness. if you at work and you working as blue collar work, that force you to have a certain toughness. So previous generations, it is a certain toughness, no question about it. Technology was different, lifestyle was different, and this is something I even try to have an understanding with my kids. They I could tell them about in my day when my first job, which I have. I was 8 years old and I was packing groceries at a local supermarket at 8. I wanted extra money for myself. And then I gave it, well, I had to give it to my family because, that helped in terms of food in the house. Even when I was packing groceries at 8 years old, I was packing groceries and I was making $125 a week. You know, roughly. But it was just a different era. It was a different era, different mindset. Nowadays, things is high tech. Kids could sit down in a house and make money. Digital marketing. You can sell EBooks. You can start a YouTube page. Podcasts. Get monetized. All from your comforts of home. Without breaking a sweat. You don't have to work 9 to 5. I'm just giving you a little backdrop of everything. Of the reason why is a lack of toughness. So older generations, we have to understand it's a cycle of life. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, more technology, so you don't have to do a lot of physical labor. So that's not going to bring a lot of toughness. If you sit and doing a YouTube channel, have a camera on you, that's going to take away from the toughness. In comparison, you had to pack groceries at 8 years old, where your family could use that money at 8. And you still had to maintain school, your work. If you after school, and I'll give you a little backdrop. After school, I do my homework, then I'm working from, I finish homework like around 4:30, from I get home like around 3:15, about 3:20. Wash up real quick, get a meal from the stove. My mother have it prepared for me, a little snack, and do my homework. Finish up like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Go across the street and work at the local, especially if they had a spot for me, because there's other kids that was also doing the same thing, feeding their families at 8, 9, 10. $10 a day. You know, if I'm able to work, like, let's say average from 6 o'clock to closing, which they close around 8. I think that was the time. They closed like 8 o'clock. So it was across the street from where I live, so it was not a problem. Literally, I was across the street from my area, so I could walk across the street and just be at the supermarket, and my parents would allow me to work there. And from 6 to 8, make $10. Whole bunch of quarters and nickels and dimes in my pocket. So if you say Monday through Friday, $10 each, that's $50. Saturdays, I worked all day from open to close, which was from like 8 to 6 or something like that, or 8 to 8. Forgot the time. I think, no, 8 to 8. Made $40 that day. So that's $90. And then Sundays was like, half a day was like 8 to 5. And I made like $30. 30, 35, about $35. Because I was clocking in at $125 a week. Times that by the month, that was like $500 at 8. So I was an income machine for my parents. Just give me, $2 and the rest be just for them to help contribute with food and household stuff. So that brought a certain toughness. And not all the time I was lucky to do that, to get inspired, because a whole bunch of kids was, trying to get their hustle on. You had to get there. It's like first come, first serve. So sometimes I wasn't lucky to be there, many times. But if I was there, that I able to work there that weekend or that day, it was all good. And sometimes the manager didn't even want no kids help packing. So sometimes we stood in front of, because he was moody. So sometimes we stood in front of the supermarket for a half an hour, hoping that, he softened up. He might let one or two of us in, and we just had we couldn't be there. Many different scenarios. It was a grown man. He was like 50 years old, and he used to be there packing. There, he was allowed to because he was adult and he was a great packer. I was pretty good too myself. And then sometimes you had people elderly needed a person to help them with groceries, take the groceries home with them or help them with their groceries, and then if you was lucky you get a tip, an extra $5 tip on top of that. Sometimes I had a real good day. It was on a Saturday especially. I think one time on a Saturday it was something between $80 and $100 just that one day. Changed pockets of quarters. Sometimes it just, so the pockets was full, I had to go home and dump it off and then come back again. Quarters, nickels, dollars. That was a certain toughness, and I enjoyed doing it because I knew it helped out the house. But you're talking 8 years old, so it's a different mentality. And sure, I played too and had a great time, played sports and stuff. I'm giving you a backdrop, and I'm gonna bring it back up to speed. But I'm just giving you a little of my chronicles of growing up. When we played sports like baseball or football, especially football, we played in the snow, cold conditions. You don't find kids these days playing football, and that's not even popular actually like it used to be. Mostly basketball. But even once in the blue, I wasn't a basketball guy, but when I did play, we played in anybody from NY in a certain era. The playgrounds wasn't really the cleanest playgrounds. Glass on the ground. You bouncing your ball, most likely the glass get in the ball. We didn't think nothing of it. It's insanity now. We're going to get to I'm going to flip back and forth on the weather conditions. Even the weather conditions when we played football. We played we played tackle football on concrete. And on glass. Because the courts, the playground, like I mentioned, wasn't clean. I know I scraped one time. We played tackle on concrete, and the concrete had glass all throughout the ground. And we playing tackle. One time, a friend of mine threw the football to me, and I dived, caught the ball, scraped up my whole elbow to the white meat. That was just the era, the toughness. That was a certain toughness. Even that resonate in my DNA to this day. Anybody that's from the tri-state area in that time frame, you will know. I'm not even gonna mention the year. If you just know. Even so, I gave you an example of people like myself that worked at a young age, played sports and in that type of, you had to have that type of mentality. We didn't care. We played rough, but it was fun. That brought a certain mentality. Even how we interact with each other, especially if you're coming from, let's say, New York City. New York City, as you know, is a tough-minded city, especially years ago. It still is to this day, but it definitely softened up. And that's a microcosm of today's society, of it being soft. You don't have kids, and I'm not saying they should, but they're playing on concrete, on glass, tackle football, basketball court, playing on court full of glass. Not grass, but glass. Pardon. That automatically it's a certain toughness that today's society is different. Kids, for the most part, is not out and about playing. It's mostly indoors, conversating through each other through social media. You can do everything from home. You can shop it, food can be delivered to you from home. You communicate with your family and friends from home through Zoom or FaceTime people or Instagram or whatever. You build relationships just with the touch of your phone. lack of interactions. We lose actual communication skills. We get softer because there's no direct interaction. You can't feel that person out one-on-one because you indoors. You just texting somebody, emailing somebody. Even if you FaceTime someone, it's different from actually being in front of their face and interacting. So you lose skills. That's why today's generation has a lack of social skills. They don't know how to interact with people because there's a lack of. So it makes them a lot, not only lack of communication skills, but it makes them mentally weak, soft. And with the technology that is put out here, it's helping in making things fast, but it's also dumbing down society. No, and this is why it's a decline of just relationships, work ethic, to sum things up, being mentally tough. The decline of resilience in today's society is a microcosm of all of these things that I mentioned. I gave you a little bit of my chronicles growing up, but it also is as I mentioned that word, with that word, a microcosm, which is basically an overview of what goes on in society to this day. People is emotionally sensitive. See, if you out in the streets one-on-one talking to interacting with people, men or women, you naturally learn to interact with people, which would equate being less sensitive, more stronger, and then also having accountability, personal responsibilities, how to conduct yourself when you're dealing with people. That's a dying art right now. It's a dying art. All of this deals with society being soft. What made me talk about this topic today is I was watching a little bit of the clips of the NBA draft. Just the clips. I surfed through the web just like a lot of people, and highlights of young men being drafted and will start their life playing in the NBA basketball league. For anyone that don't know that doesn't watch sports. And these young men, the ages of 18 to let's say 22 on average, they being drafted, they celebrating being picked by certain teams and about to start their career and up and coming playing basketball. But then I watched and listened to them carefully. Most of these guys out here getting on the stage and crying, bawling, literally. Guys that are 6'9", 7 foot, supposed to be tough on the court, coming out of college. But they bawling and weeping, and they got drafted. To me, a lot of people in society will say, "Oh, that's nice," and that young man showing his sensitive side, and he's bawling and mucus coming out of his nose. I mean, full blown crying. I like to thank my mama. All of that extra. Now, I think about, again, my era when I was that age. No, you happy. I played sports, college, and, I won trophies and so forth. And I personally, me, didn't just get on the stage, get on the podium, I like to thank my mama, and snot coming out my nose, and full-blown crying like a little girl, like a little 8-year-old girl. My personal opinion. And a lot of these guys out here, and one particular guy, he was just thinking his mama dressed him up, and he's looking very feminine. My mama dressed me. My mama and sister dressed me. This man is like a 20-year-old man, or going into the draft and say, "Yo, my mama dressed me. My mama and sister dressed me. I didn't pick anything." I'm paraphrasing what he's saying. This is not mentally tough. This is not manly, guys. Making today's society, and our men of today is very soft and very emotional. And I talked about this constantly, is these mothers, these single mothers, is destroying men, young men, destroying to the highest degree. They think they're doing something wonderful, but they are destroying, making these men soft. And again, these young men is surrounded by their mother and their nothing but women around. I like to thank my grandmom, and they crying and so forth. No man in sight. It's destroying the young men out here. Young men is sensitive, and it's really sad. And they supposed to grow up to be a somebody, and it's just producing another generation of weak-minded men, overly sensitive, taking no accountability, no personal responsibility. And that piggybacks to the next topic in schools and workplace and relationships. Too focused on feelings over facts. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's a story I have. It was presented to me. A man at his workplace told a woman, she's talking to somebody else, and she's a regular co-worker, running her mouth. And the man just simply told her, just focus on your work and be quiet. The woman, being upset, she didn't want to be chastised. She's so angry being chastised. Again, modern women don't like to be chastised by men. And the story goes, the gentleman wasn't disrespectful to her, just told her, focus on your job, don't worry about anyone else. she's rather co-worker worrying about what other people is doing and question their work ethic and telling them what to do. What she's not even a supervisor. So the gentleman told her just to relax and focus on your work. Now the woman's pouting. She didn't like to be chastised. Man, question her, what's going on? You act like you're gonna cry. She in her rage because she didn't like to be scolded by a man, started literally crying. And then later on, I found out that the man, he got written up just for telling her, don't worry about anyone on the job, worry about yourself. There was no swearing going on, no of any kind, but she just didn't like to be checked by a man. And then she cried of so much anger. And then he got written up. This is in the workplace. And the moral of the story is you'll find a lot of incidences, a lot of situations like this in the workplace where you can't even talk to another coworker and just tell them what they need to do in a certain, direct manner. If the other party feels hurt, like that young lady, you will be reprimanded. Feelings. Has it gone too far? Yeah, I think it has. You can't literally, just to show you again, feelings. If you go on social media and you're communicating with a stranger and you type in, and I have done that, and I say, how are you? In caps, capital H, capital O, capital W. How are you? I got a response one time. They said, stop yelling at me. What? How I'm yelling at you? Because sometimes I just type in caps, personally. I do that because it's bolder, it shows the words better when I'm typing. I just like doing it. But the other party got mad at me, literally. And typed back to me, don't you yell at me. I'm online with you. How am I yelling at you, typing at you? And that other party got real ignorant and text back to me very harsh things, very harsh words. I'm not getting to all that. Basically, cursed me out. But off of me saying, how are you? In caps. They said I was being rude. And I'm talking loud. Are we now have gotten to the point of society where typing, not even verbally saying anything to you, typing in bold and capital letters constitute for me, I'm actually screaming at you. Really? Off of typing? Feelings. Let's take it to a whole different level. This is why I say society is soft these days. I'm being reprimanded just in bold in capital letters saying, how are you? Capital O, capital H, O, W. How are you? This is ridiculous. Even in schools, we know about, Pride Month. Suppose I have an opinion, I don't celebrate the homosexual month. Am I being insensitive? People will say I'm being insensitive. Society will say that. But I'm just saying, I'm giving an example if I want to state my opinion that I disagree with it. You know how much trouble I could get just to have my own opinion, not even being disrespectful towards the homosexual community, just saying that's not my thing. If you at school, seems like that better be your thing. Or you're going to be ostracized or ridiculed. Is this feelings or facts? Society has changed, and that's clear. You can't even be truthful with people. Remember, you know this phrase, you can't handle the truth? Even speaking about schools, when they have events nowadays, and you have first, second, third place, gold, silver and bronze. Nowadays, people, you come in fourth, fifth. You're getting a little plaque. Now, this is supposed to be competition. How do everybody wins? How do everybody get something for an event? There's winners, there's losers. Not everybody, look, I was in relay racing. Sometimes I came in first, sometimes I didn't. First place won, that was it. But nowadays, you could come in fifth, sixth place and you're getting a plaque. This is called competition. It's winners and losers. Not everybody can win, not everybody can lose. Those is the breaks. But you want to comfort and coddle people that is in fifth and sixth place, seventh place. Participation trophies. Really? Making people soft. That means you should work harder, train better, so you can have a better outcome, such as winning the event. Not everybody gets a little trophy. Then what was the point of competition? You want to make everybody comfortable. And that leads on to comfortable conversations. If you at your house, you talking to your family, you can't have uncomfortable conversations with your children. People say no because that's making them sensitive. That's not right. I seen one of my daughters, she was getting a little chunky in the midsection. And no, she's not pregnant. I can show that. Well, Mr. Gracious, how would you know? In this case, yes, I know. But anyway, Mr. Greatness, you probably you don't know better. All right, dude. Let's push on. I seen her get a little pot belly, because she eats good. I said, hey, you gotta do something with that stomach. Now, a lot of people say, no, maybe that's not right because you make your daughter self-conscious and stuff like that. No, I mean, this is one of comfortable conversations. If you see, a loved one of yours getting a little pudgy and stuff like that, you gotta, excuse me, sit down and talk to her and say, yo, man, you gotta work it out. And I feel there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, to have a conversation so your loved ones can do better. I would expect them to say that to me. If I'm slipping, this is what it's all about. Part of uncomfortable conversations, but now I'm not supposed to say that in this day and time when children's getting heavy, because society will say, you're making them feel insecure, and they interject children with that insecurity mindset that nobody can tell them about themselves, and if they do, the whole world will collapse. You're making kids soft. Talk about certain things. And the decline of physical, and that leads on to the declining of physical toughness and mental toughness. A lot of times people don't want to work out or take care of their bodies. They just let it go. And they don't want nobody to talk to them or check them about that. You're not helping your loved ones, nor are you help building society on the basis of what I just explained. Otherwise, the death of accountability. And in this society, people love to say it's not my fault, but you want results without effort. No, you gotta put in work to receive the benefits. And in this day and time, nobody wants to admit. And then people on social media, just for clout, just to seek likes. And if you have, let's say on Facebook, you got 5,000 friends. That's just, and then you really in your mind thinking, I got 5,000 friends. No, you only just got 5,000 people that just clicked on just social media and liking it, what you have. But that don't mean they're your friend. A lot of people get all sensitive about having all of these subscribers, and if one subscriber unsubscribe, you getting in your feelings. It drops from 5,000 to, let's say, 4,990, and your world is collapsed. Because you didn't see, you have people that unsubscribe, or you seeking likes and approval on social media. No, nothing substantial. And we in a society where likes and clicks, that's our world. And the children's growing up under these emotional weaknesses. And the school standards is being lowered. Homework is not given like it used to be. That shows discipline, order, a routine. There's no routines. It's just like whatever. Making the children weak. Society weak as a whole. And it starts because of schools lowering their standards of homework and expectations from the students because they don't want them to feel bad. And then it extends in homes. We're not preparing our kids for the real world. We're really setting them up for failure. They're not working hard. How can you build discipline? And you must embrace discomfort. Discomfort is you getting homework. You got to spend sometimes 3 or 4 hours on the homework assignment, or 5 or 6. Sometimes you get home 3:30 and you might take you 6 hours to complete that homework. And then after the homework, you got chores. Oh no, that's too much. No homework and less chores. No social growth. There's no accountability culture. It's victimhood. The blame game. Are we really becoming too soft in society? That's my question from me to you. Like, subscribe, and share to the Greatness 19 channel, Mr. Evolution of London, on YouTube. The Oracle 19 weekend radio show is every Sunday morning, pre-recorded, and the podcast is Monday and Thursdays. Are we entering the soft society? That's my question from me to you. Until the next time.